the shotgun, puts Poli in motion, looks in his direction, it's picked off! It's picked off! It's Tracy Porter again! He's running free! He's going to go all the way! Hand out stretch! It is a Saint touchdown! 70 yards on the return!
To Saints fans everywhere, this Tracy Porter interception of Peyton Manning in the waning minutes of Super Bowl 44 represented vindication. After decades of losing seasons, paper bags, and hurricanes, their beloved team had made it to the promised land. But few know the integral roles played by race and the civil rights movement in bringing the Saints to New Orleans that nearly kept the city from receiving a professional franchise. Civil rights in New Orleans up to the 1960s had been unstable to say the least. Residents of the city saw it change from a hotbed for slave trading at the height of slavery to one of the most pro-civil rights cities in the South during the Reconstruction era. But tensions heightened during the first half of the 20th century, and Jim Crow laws had taken the city hostage. Despite its nearly 40% black population, whites-only signs outside of businesses and segregation inside the schools were commonplace in the Crescent City. It was this New Orleans that Buffalo Bills quarterback Jack Kemp traveled to in 1964 to play in the American Football League All-Star Game. The game was meant to act as a precursor to New Orleans acquiring its own AFL team. During his trip, Kemp saw his 21 black teammates ignored at restaurants, refused service by taxi drivers, and taunted by citizens in the streets. Outraged at this lack of respect, Kemp and his teammates boycotted the game until it was moved out of New Orleans. The league quickly relented, and the AFL All-Star Game was played in Houston, essentially ending New Orleans' chance at a professional football franchise. NFL Commissioner Pete Rozelle had witnessed this episode from afar and used it to his advantage in 1966 when he went to Congress seeking an antitrust exemption that would allow the AFL and NFL to merge into one league. Faced with some opposition, Rozelle approached Louisiana Democratic Congressman Hale Boggs and Senator Russell Long. Both men were powerful forces within the House of Representatives and the Senate, and both saw the AFL fiasco as a missed opportunity. Commissioner Rozelle was well aware that the support from Boggs and Long would be enough to push the exemption through Congress, but was concerned, due to the AFL controversy, that their support would hinge on awarding New Orleans an NFL franchise. With some coercion from the Louisiana congressman and assurance that New Orleans was on a path to racial equality, Rozelle agreed, and the NFL awarded its 16th franchise on November 1, 1966, All Saints Day. There's no way of knowing how different things could have been had the AFL placed the team in New Orleans in 1965. With a more tolerant attitude towards race, New Orleans would have been granted a team, and Pete Rozelle would have lacked the leverage used to secure support from Congressman Boggs and Senator Long. Without this support, the AFL and NFL could never have merged, and professional football today would look much different. One thing that is certain is that in the decades to follow, the Saints have become a rallying force in New Orleans that has brought people of all races together to cheer on their beloved team.
Get ready to party with the Lombardi, New Orleans!
It's already started, I promise you, my friend.